I thought this video was going to be a little bit on the boring side, but well, yesterday, May 24th, I thought this video was going to be a little bit on the boring side, but last night we had almost 90-mile-per-hour winds and about 4 inches of rain dumped on us. You can see behind me something that happened. So we've been so busy all day long. Another thing happened that kind of took up a lot of our day. Anyway. When we came in to assess the damage, we knew this tree had fallen over. Luckily, the neighbor's worker had told us that our turkeys were fine. I swear these turkeys have angels watching over them. They've been through a dog attack, almost being bred to death, and now a tree almost fell on both of them. There were limbs on either sides of these little pens we have them in. Next thing we noticed was the barn door. Thank goodness we are insured. This is the south-facing door, but the north-facing door was also blown and torn and just ruined. This was my pride and joy maple tree. I left this tree split all the way down. I don't want to see this tree go. I ended up cutting that middle section because it was not going to make it, and then we drilled through the trunk, and I've seen Laura from Garden Answer do this before with a much bigger tree, but washers on each side of a long thread awl, or here we used an eye hook. We just cranked it together, and then I ended up putting a strap on those main 2 limbs. I'm gonna have to figure out that void right there and see what I can do to salvage this tree. That wasn't the only thing in the garden. My greenhouse doors blew in and all the screws came out of the door. Luckily, the glass didn't break on the doors. I did have one window. The frame got messed up and the glass broke. Luckily, we didn't love those windows, so we were going to try to replace them. Now I have to. Let it be known, I did check on all my animals first and they were fine. But the most devastating thing of all was found right here. Somebody had dumped this puppy on the side of the road, and we know a dumped dog when we see one. A lot of people do it out here in the country because they think somebody's just going to take them in, or they'll live on their own, or just die. They don't care. Well, I guess we have a third puppy. Because we did not plan on a third dog. We talked about keeping him here as a farm dog, but we're not prepared for that today. Well, then we had to go take him to get a bed and a collar and a new toy at Atwood's. He slept almost the whole time in the cart and then slept when he got back. If he was outside for all of that storm and getting dumped, he had a really hard night. In fact, he's sleeping behind me right now in the house. My neighbor thought he looked like a Tennessee Walker dog, and he might be, or a mix of some kind, but his name is Walker because of that. And as I'm recording this, he's been home for about an hour and is getting used to the other 2 dogs. And now on to how we thought the past 2 weeks were gonna go. We finally got our new bull Franklin corralled, and it's time to take him over to our farm. Hey bud. You ready to work? Again, this is our neighbor's farm. He has a corral system which would be so nice for working cows, especially with this squeeze chute. I just need a few more watch hours and a few more subscribers to make that happen. Come on, buddy. Not only did he have to pass through the squeeze chute in order to get on the trailer, we also had to vaccinate and deworm him. Way too easy. Give him black leg. Never met them. He walked right on. Then we just drove over to our farm and let him get to know the ladies. He is going to be a little distraught for a couple days, and then he should get down to business, or so we hope. For some reason, when you introduce a new cow or bull, all the cows go running over to see him, and they usually all go running together. I don't know, some kind of motivational company run or something. Anyway, here's Franklin finally at our farm. He's a Hereford Angus bull. He's about a little over a year, so he should be ready to work, contrary to most people's belief. Well, the grass and ground dried up just enough for us to get the lawnmower down the fence line. I bought a bunch of field fence, and we're gonna fence the goats and sheep off from getting to the neighbor's property, because that's just the first thing they do. Grass is always greener on the other side. If you ever want leg day at the farm, this is a great way to do it. It hurts. If you've never seen these clips before, I'm sorry. We just found them not too long ago. It is a little bit of an investment. That bucket was not cheap. This little bit on the end of the screwdriver was also not cheap, about 60 bucks for that. But it makes your life so much easier and works so fast. They also make connectors for the ends of the wire onto the stretch post or whatever you're stretching against. And they are also not cheap, but they work well. You twist it onto the end of the cut side of the wire and then bend it over to the next square, and they have curved arms that go in opposite directions, and you slip it onto there. It's kind of hard to do, but once you get it on there and you pull against it, it ain't going nowhere. This is like a commercial for this product or something. They also make these round pole ones, but you basically see what that bit does. It puts the ends in there and twists it around, and then it actually cuts the extra off. So most of the time you want to run a magnet or something to get all those pieces, but they are hard to find in the tall grass. This is a fence stretcher for a field fence. It has a spike that goes through two little loops in the bar, and in between those loops you put the lateral lines of the fence. Then you can put some sort of strap in between the handles and pull that real tight. We used the truck to pull it tight, but we also put a winch on it so we could make it even tighter after you get out of the truck. And then comes the laborious part, putting clips on the posts. Right here we're using the standard T-post clips. Now it's hard to do it through field fence anyway, but also with existing barbed wire is even harder. So that's when we decided to use the fancy clips, and we got some of our own, I think the next day, and it took us 45 minutes where it would normally take us hours. These suckers are looking for the end of the fence line. Suckers, you're stuck on your 15 acres. The goats are being real quiet right now. It's kind of after hours. The Derek had to run some errands. I've done a lot of rearranging, selling of goats. I can, let some of them go, and we let Jack Jr. go. I have actually put Anne and Lena up for sale. Lena was so cute last year. I think she's still adorable, but she didn't sell last year and I got to keep her. But she's related to Jack and Ruby, so Ruby stays. Anne looks just like Ruby, except a little bit lighter, and so I wanted more color. So I need to change up my stock a little bit in order to do that. This opens me up to a few of the ideas I've had as far as color and coat patterns. We also had to mow this area because we called in about propane for Derek's kitchen. We also want to put a backup generator out here. We have a lot of meat and a lot of investment in that meat, so if the power goes out, we need something to keep those freezers on. I think it was 2 days later, we didn't even get a warning, and they came and installed this 500-gallon tank. We did approve of this one. They were just saying it was better than the smaller one. We're renting it, so it really doesn't cost that much money, and I think it'll last us years filled up with propane. Go. Now we have a kitchen and a bathroom. We just don't have a shower, and I'm pretty sure Derek did that on purpose so we couldn't move out to the farm before we have our house. But if we don't move out there soon, we're gonna bathe in the stock tanks. Believe it or not, we even had a window to do a bunch of mowing. We got about half of our property done before we had a big get-together with a few of our fellow Idaho pasture pig breeders. For said get-together, we built this pit-style roaster oven thing for a whole hog roast. And if you want to see the build of that and how we did everything and what we changed, be sure to stay tuned next week for that video. We ended up having to take the dogs overnight and stay out there to watch the coals and make sure that pig stayed at the right temperature to cook all through the night. Now, one more thing before it's a week or two till I see you again. We got 4 pigs back from the processor, and we are in the process of making our sample packs. If you're interested in these sample packs and you can pick up from us in East Texas or a drop in the DFW area, let us know. Our email is specialplaceranch@gmail.com. You can also get a hold of us on our website. There's a message button there, and that website is www.specialplaceranch.com. You have to type in the whole thing to find us. And depending on how these sales go, we'll decide whether we keep back more pigs than we need and a couple other customers, because we don't have a whole lot of room for a whole bunch of pigs to grow out. So it's kind of a limited thing. I thank you so much for watching this video and subscribing, and as always, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I upload most Sundays, and you can keep watching us grow our farm. Have a good one.